industrial transformation, remain competitive and creative, meaningful value for all of you here. So without wasting time, right, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce our first distinguished speaker, technologist Mr. Martin Steven Mueller Abdullah, with great title to discuss designing for digital impact, human-centered innovation in the age of AI. Well, Mr. Martin Steven, he's a highly accomplished technical leader with over 20 years of R&D experience across industries, including aerospace, oil and gas, IT solution, and more, holding 3 patents and renowned for beginning innovation and concept to market. He has advanced robotic, automation, and software solution that boost productivity and enable data-driven operations worldwide. Internationally recognized in Europe, Asia, and having shared his expertise with over 5,000 participants, Mr. Martin brings a wealth of knowledge, innovation, and passion for problem solving that we privileged to learn from him today. Please join us to welcome Mr. Martin today. Mr. Martin, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gouri. So very warm welcome to everyone here. Good to see some of you in the screen here. This is always interesting when we have a webinar, yeah, so that we can see a few all across the world. I hope so. And what also is interesting to me, I just checked the chat box. Yeah? So there's a few AIs joining us. so this is very interesting. So we are not talking only to humans today. We are talking also to AIs today. So this is perfectly for our session and perfectly for this whole topic, yeah? Design thinking in the terms of AI, human-centered approach. So let me share you my screen. Give me a second. I can share my screen with you. All right. Can you all see my screen? Can I see, or can I get a quick feedback if you can see my screen?
Yes, can, Doctor. Right.
All right. Thank you so much. So, yeah, welcome to this session, Designing for Digital Impact, Human-Centered Innovation in the age of AI. So as I said just now, AI is joining us on a daily basis in terms of meeting, in terms of recording sometimes, anywhere, anyhow, everyone claims there is AI inside. So that's why I call it, jokingly, I say it always, AI stands for all in. So that is what it is all about. We go all into technology and we see what it is coming out. Now, let me share a bit about my session today. Currently it is 2025 and as Dr. rightly said, we are expecting that 2026 is another exciting year ahead of us in terms of AI and how AI impact us. So currently, I would say we are on a junction, cross-section, what you call it. Where are we going? So where are we going with AI? And there's a lot of debates out there. Definitely, we have AI for the industries. So more and more companies investing in AI, investing in tools there. However, it might not be so successful yet. So some research has shown that the impact from the investment is not brought forward now. Maybe in the future it will be. So definitely industries are looking into AI, businesses looking into AI, how we can leverage on it. So we all get excited about. But we also see questions arising. Is it really improving so much? Is it really enhancing our productivity as we thought? So there are a lot of questions coming. Beyond societies, society as large. We going to shopping malls, there are video cameras, there are now AI in our daily life, in our homes, where we are getting monitored, where we work with AI together. So society at large getting into AI. And that's why we need to see what is actually the human experience that we have with AI. Is it only a conversation with a machine, or is it actually more behind that? Are there feelings involved? Are there non-feelings involved? Is this good? Is this bad? So we need to talk a little bit about human experience with AI. So what can we do? How can we design it actually that we have better experience in a larger scale and with different expectations. So this is very important to understand that industry, businesses, societies, and we as the user might have different expectation from AI at large. Now, when we look into the innovation part of it, innovation, we're looking into more of a technologically advanced innovation. That means technology plays a very important role nowadays when it comes to the innovation process itself. So how can we structure innovation? How can we actually utilize AI in our innovation itself? And even a few years back when I was working in Germany, we already did some evaluation of our products, and that was almost 14, 15 years back. And we found out that we have not many mechanical products anymore. So we have mechanic, but all products actually that we have somehow become smart. So, and now we come into the next way of technology advanced products. That means AI will enhance products and innovation per se. So it's very important to understand that technology plays an essential role in the innovation process to guide us through, to maybe support us when we do innovation, but also in the product itself. So the products need to become smarter, the products need to become more sophisticated in a sense. So we are going further and further in more complex systems rather than in simplified products. And what we need is actually a deeply human approach, because the more complex our products become, the maybe more technical it is, the less human it is, the more challenging it's actually to use. Now, I shared this many times, and I said this before in many occasions. Germany was very good in engineering products. So we were very proud of our engineered products, but not seldom actually we over-engineer, and also we make not a human touch on it. So that means it was deeply technical. You need a very deep training, very good technical background actually to use these products. Now, when we say deeply human, that means we need to put the human in the center of all innovation. The human is actually the most important part in the innovation process, because at the end, we will develop for humans. We will not innovate for machines. We will develop and innovate for humans. So we need to be deeply human. So what is the digital impact? The digital impact is how we measure actually the effect of digital technologies on people, process, and outcomes. So as I said before, companies heavily around the globe investing in AI, but not many companies or not all companies can benefit at the moment. So maybe when I go to the chat box, can you write down how many % do you think currently actually benefit from AI? Can you go to the chat box and write down how many companies currently really benefit from AI? So those who are investing really benefit from AI. Can you say some, or can you get some idea? Because there's recent research coming out, so. How many % do you think really benefit from AI at the moment? Any idea? Can you go to the chat box? Or I'm only talking to AI. 10% for AI Copilot. Yeah, very good. Yeah, so that's already one number. Yeah, 78%. Yeah. of global companies, yeah, those who are investing in AI. Yeah, that is correct. So currently, that was one report that was recently released. Around 70% of the companies have already, worldwide, around 80% of companies heavily investing on AI. But 80% of the companies have not seen any real benefit. So the real benefit means that they can already materialize and have a positive impact. So that is the challenge that we are currently facing, that investment is done, things are moving towards digitalization, but really have a positive impact on people, process, and outcome. That is the challenging part. So that is one big challenge that we actually need to look into. So therefore, we need to look into a human-centered innovation approach. That means we need to design solutions that prioritize human needs, human values, and also experiences. So as you can see, human-centered innovation is actually focusing on human as the center part, and therefore we engineer for humans. Now, when we look into the evaluation of that, in the past, we looked on efficiency, automation, and scalability. That was our past focus. Now, we're looking actually more on other things like empathy, ethics, inclusion, and that's also where the discussion of AI is going. When we look into the part of area, when we say human-centric, that means we need to look how people using it. Is there a misuse? Is there something that we don't want to have? So actually, we need to change our past focus from efficiency, automation, scalability, more towards empathy, ethics, and inclusion. So you have heard about a lot of this biasness of AI, biasness of the solutions and whatnot. And this is exactly what we are looking for, that when we say we innovate in terms of AI, we need to have all these current imperatives like empathy, ethics, and inclusion as well. So why is this a shift? Because the tech solution often fails when we ignore the human context. As I mentioned before, when we innovate for machines, it is very easy. But the human context is very important nowadays, not only for AI, but in general. So how people use our product, how people may misuse our product is very essential, and AI plays an essential role here. So therefore, we need to look into trust, adoption, and the impact deepen on the relevance of real human needs. So what does this mean? This means that actually we need to see how this solution really help us to understand maybe the deep insights, what the data can tell us. Many people are always scared when we collect all this kind of data, run data analytics and so on, for the sake of actually improvement. They are scared maybe, oh, my job will be gone or it will be changed. It's not about reduction of jobs sometimes, it's enhancing of jobs. And this is what I say many times to my clients as well. We need to put the human in the center and develop the solution around the human so that the human can actually do more productive or more highly cognitive tasks rather than to do simple tasks. So therefore, it's very important when we develop and innovate that we actually look into trust, adoption, and the impact, that relevance to the real human needs. So when we see this, so there's a little bit of some graphics that I created using AI, of course. What is the chatbot doing in the past? The chatbot was designed for speed. So when we all used chatbots in the past, for example, we were happy when they were very fast and responsive. But actually, you know already that it's a chatbot. You always thought, oh, you're communicating with a human. But actually, we are communicating with a machine. We know that already. Because you key in some words, the response was not that great. So now when we shift it, we actually can see very much improvement when we use AI and proper systems, proper design software, because we're not only getting this answer, but actually we're getting also a more kind of understanding. Yeah? So the interaction between human machine has changed. Yeah? So this is one area where AI can actually support us. Yeah, from insight to innovation, we need to understand the frameworks that we have. So typically we call this a double diamond or just to be done, human-centered AI canvas. So there are many frameworks outside there which we can use, that we use in design thinking, especially, where we talk about open our mind first. Yeah? So double diamond, we open our mind first, then we conclude, we open again, and then we conclude. Yeah? So this is what we call double diamond structure. So here we can see that we can use these existing frameworks to actually gain more insights from the innovation part. Very important principles that I would like to share with you. Empathy first is one important part. We need to see that we solve the problem from a human perspective. Human perspective means that it is for the user and that we have some kind of understanding what is actually the user's needs. So empathy means that we put ourselves in the shoe of the users. So that is what we're teaching in design thinking, for example. Inclusive, as I said, inclusive today, we need to consider different type of people that might be using it. As an example, we need to think about how we design innovation or how we innovate products that are more for elderly, that are maybe for people who have shortcomings on one side. I give you an example that I use very often. I'm okay flying in an aeroplane. I just came back from Germany last week. I'm okay. I can sit there. I'm not so tall. I'm 179. But my brother is almost 2 meters. so I don't want that. I have asked him, I said, how do you feel sitting in an aeroplane? He said, it's very headache for me because I'm so tall. He's quite a big German guy. So for him, it's very challenging. I remember my father, when we bought my father the first mobile phone, he couldn't use a normal mobile phone. Then I asked my father, why you cannot use a normal mobile phone? He said, the keypads are too small. So empathy first means when we use innovation, when we use AI or driving innovation forward, we need to think about how different people, young people, professionals, technology savvy people, or elderly people, how they actually use our products. That means inclusivity. And responsibility or responsible AI, I said this before, we have certain ethnics, certain biasness that we need to consider, especially when we use large language models that are not developed by us or that might be coming from someone else, or solutions that are coming from someone else. So this is some area we need to look into. Methods that we use is definitely co-creation. So I always encourage people to actually develop solution together with their clients. You can do rapid prototyping. There are very good tools outside there in terms of how we can do it very fast. Rapid prototyping does not necessarily relate only to 3D printing. It also can be mock-ups, digital concepts. So which AI can help us and which we can get very good feedbacks right from the beginning. So as an example,
traveling this weekend, Sunday, to anak balik sendiri, anak balik
Sunday I'm not available. Yeah, AI in urban mobility. Yeah, so this is one example here where AI can maybe help us. AI in urban mobility, for example, inclusiveness of transportation. So that means if we have people maybe who are blind, they could use AI and AI-based solution technology to help them to get to the necessary train station, to get instruction, maybe where to go. to get maybe warnings or what kind of other information surroundings that we actually can use from traffic lights, from buses, positioning system, as I said, GPS. So many things can be integrated together to actually help these people, for example, in urban mobility. So my last slide I want to share to conclude my session when we talk about designing the impact. Innovation succeeds when it solves real problems for real people. So all our efforts in the age of AI, in terms of design thinking, should be that we design solution that solves real problem for real people. It is not the benefit for all of us if we design the best system, the most technology advanced system, if we cannot solve real problems for real people. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Martin. The tedious thing, when you explain about the tedious thing, it's so inspiring and practical presentation. Your insight on innovation, automation, and especially when you say the AI is all in. So that catch me. So when you explain further about how it's applied to others and how you look into the tedious thing on the design for the need of people, that is really give us the impact of the show for today. Right, thank you so much. And now we would like to open the floor for question and answer. Please feel free to ask question and let's make this interaction exchange and a benefit to all. So participant, any question? Or you would like to text in the chatting? No question?
Otherwise, I need to talk to AI.
All right, we have from Joshua, correctly, hopefully I pronounce your name correctly. What emerging trends do you see shaping this field in the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, that is a very interesting and a very good question. So there are many trends outside there. Currently, what we are moving on is a bit, as when we also look into Gartner hype cycle, we're seeing currently that Gen AI is a little bit of the downwards going side, which is normal for Gartner hype cycle. And definitely one point is coming up at the moment, and you can see this also in some of your application, that is actually AI agents. So AI agents are very popular at the moment because we see that it helps us to customize certain approaches, certain processes, which actually help us to not even key in, but get already some structured approach. So that is one area I can say. There are more others as well, but one area I can clearly see how companies and company and organization want to utilize AI further by using AI agents. So that one is one trend.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Martin. So one more question. Yes, we have here. How do you ensure diverse perspectives are included in your work or decision making?
Oh, that's also a good question. So now we're getting the very good questions. That is very nice. How do I ensure diverse perspectives are included in your work or decision making? Now I can only speak from my side personally. At the end of the day, there is always the human touch. I always like to say this, the human touch. So at the end of the day, even if we have all this data, if we have all this analytics or all this kind of solution or suggestions, how you want to call this from AI or from the field, at the end of the day, there is still the human touch or the human feeling, which actually makes the final decision. So definitely the cognitive domain, that is what we are talking a lot about at the moment. The cognitive domain from human in terms of critical thinking, in terms of decision making, is very, very important. So what people need to learn is actually, yes, you get all these answers, but the critical thinking part, the final decision is still based on human, on empathy, on understanding different contexts which maybe technology cannot understand yet. So that's my take on that.
All right, Mr. Martin, we have the last question because we have to go for next session. We have here from Akila.
Yeah.
Commented, good session, very self-explanatory. But what is AI agent fails? How can the information be secure?
Oh, that's also a very good question, sir. Maybe that one I need to pass to the developers who developed the AI agent. There was a very good point. There was a very good. I read an article recently on the German portal. For example, there was one story. Sweden is now at the moment very. How to say, very scared or very worried if the internet is down, because they have most of their transaction is actually online. So imagine what we do, all our QR code and whatnot we are using, and suddenly the internet is down. Ask yourself, do you still have cash with you? Yeah. So these are the questions which really is interesting. I have not a particular answer, to be very frank, on this question, because it depends on the technology, it depends on the backup system that you have, that wave of how you secure. And it might be different from company to company, how you have this backup established, how you actually secure this from a technology or from a system architecture point of view. So that's where I cannot give you a clear answer to that. But maybe in the later session, maybe we have some other speaker who might be able to go deeper into this system architecture or infrastructure architecture part.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Martin. As I told you that yours was very practical and very innovative kind of information. So we will give way for the next presentation. Thank you. And thank you for those who asked for thoughtful questions. Right now, my honor to invite technologist Dr. Imran, who is going to shower us with the title of AI Design Thinking 4.0 Strategic Framework for Industrial Transformation. Dr. Imran, an Industry 4.0 evangelist, an AI transformation leader with over 21 years of global experience across manufacturing, automotive, supply chain, banking, smart cities, and fintech. As Group CEO of Datalytica, Dr. Imran leads operation in Malaysia, Thailand, and the UAE, delivering AI-powered solution, readiness, assessment, transformation roadmaps, R&D, workforce upskilling, solution architecture, and deploying strategies with experience in the triple helix ecosystem, industry, government, and academia. He also serves as a technical advisory and young associate professor and keynote speaker, shaping future-ready strategies for Industry 4.0 and AI-driven innovation. Currently, he is serving Industry Advisory Panel of Faculty of Business and Management, UiTM, Board of Studies, Industry Accessory, UNITA, Industry Advisory of a Board Members, INTI University. Please join us to welcome technologist Dr. Imran Sarwar. Dr. Imran, is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gouri. Let me share my screen. Okay, very good afternoon and good evening to Malaysian, and a good afternoon to the UAE and other people. It's a privilege to be here. I'm looking into AI Smart Factory by Design, bridging the human insight and AI intelligence, human-centric AI factory by innovation with the design and data. So usually when we are looking into AI transformation, we are looking into maturity assessment, people, process, and technology transformation across all of the sectors that will help us to enable and transform the different sectors and different industry together. Now, Industry 4.0 is a thing of a past, and what uh, T.S. Martin just now mentioned, human-centric AI, which is Industry 5.0. In Industry 4.0 was more focused on light out factories. So light out factories are factory without light. Factory without light means without humans, because machines and AI does not need light, they need connectivity. So light out factories are factory without the light. And the notion of how dangerous it is that if there are organization and people are not working, so where will the people go? So Japan come up with Society 5.0 initiative back in 2015, 10 years back, which says AI is important, but humans are even more important, and how AI and human can able to work together. Human have HI, human intelligence. AI is data driven. So how we can leverage on and complement each other. So Industry 5.0 ecosystem is on top of Industry 4.0 ecosystem, where Industry 4.0 is paving the way of smart ecosystem. Industry 3.0, the things were disconnected, silos, they were quite much manual process. Industry 4.0 brings digital operations by bringing those legacy machine upgrade, either it's PLCs, it's SCADA, it's robotics, to connect them to the hybrid multi-cloud so they can able to transmit the data in a hyper factory or hyper connected environment. Number two is on the automation project. So once your machines are IoT enabled, performing digital operations, the next step is to automate the production line. So we can able to look into repetition tasks to automation and more creative tasks to human. And then that leads the way to connected CPS, which is cyber physical system, including the IoT machines, robotics, and other asset in a hyper-connected factory. And then once you connect the CPS, then next thing is how you can optimize a process, whether it's a production line, it's a QA, QC, it's a inventory management, it's basically end-to-end ecosystem. That was the focus of Industry 4.0. Industry 5.0 lays the foundation of human-centric approach, which is number 5, where humans are part of the ecosystem with a responsible industry of manufacturing, where we are having ESH, environment, safety, and health, and collaboration technologies like immersive technologies, augmented reality, cobot, where heavy work or more precision-based work is being done by AI, and human are basically more creative and collaborative work. Then number 8 is on the productivity and safety of the people working within the factory. Number 9 is on the data-driven ESG. And then on top of it, there is a human, which is AI leadership. That is the synergy of the characteristics of Industry 4.0 and Industry 5.0 ecosystem. But definitely there are challenges. Uh, Challenges are part of life, and our main objective is to solve them. So there are different adoption challenges right now, whether it's the MNCs, GLCs, or SMEs in the region, anywhere around the world. Number one is how we can able to cope up the speed of the technology advancement. Every year, new technology is coming. So whatever is relevant today may be obsolete tomorrow. Industry 4.0 was focusing on how we can able to have a focus, a quick win in terms of ROI. So whatever you implement, your focus is on pointing the solutions and have a quick wins. Whereas Industry 5.0 bring one more step, how you can have a collaboration technologies and do the mass customization based on data-driven or AI-driven ecosystem. Number two is people. While working for more than 20 years in the industry, technology is not that much difficult. People's are, especially when they are in the different verticals and different horizontals, different levels, different skill set, how we can able to synergize. 5 years back, we were looking into diversity and inclusion of different races within a factory. Now we are looking into diversity and inclusion of human and AI, how they can able to work together. Industry 4.0 formalized the performance management. Industry 5.0 on workplace safety, especially after the COVID, mental health and mental well-being is very important. I have come across a situation where an ex-employee can able to sabotage a company based before leaving or after leaving an organization. That is a part of the safety of the workplace and also mental skill set and how we can improve the AI productivity monitoring of the people. Data-driven Industry 4.0 is data-driven, where you are looking into data quality and AI cybersecurity. But in Industry 5.0, we are looking into ethics and data transparency and integrity. Sustainable and responsible manufacturing in Industry 4.0, focusing on environment, health, and safety, where Industry 5.0 is one step ahead on the ESG, which is environment, social, and governance as per UN SDG goal. And then lastly is on the culture and organization change, which is based on CI. Many of the factory practitioners, operational excellence champion, they know that Kaizen is one of the important aspects of Industry 3.0 and 4.0 of continuous improvement, but Industry 5.0 is more on continuous improvement with AI innovation. That lays the foundation of lean, AI lean, agile, data-driven mindset, data and AI-driven innovation, because AI is a catalyst to speed up the process of innovation, and then also AI technology ecosystem, because AI is at the end the goal that depends on the data analytics. Data analytics depends on data management. Data management and governance depends on hybrid cloud architecture. And hybrid cloud or servers are nothing without the data. Those data are coming from CPS, which is cyber physical system. And at the end, the notion is how we can able to have a customer-centric solution, which is based on humans, for the humans, to the human, by the humans. And then how we can able to have a quick innovation cycle where we can able to fail fast, innovate fast by using AI innovation sandbox. Those sandbox are the foundation for the innovation in any organization if you have a COE, which is Center of Excellence in an organization. And then you have a complementary phases of AI leadership, because the change always start from the top to bottom, and then how you can have a maturity assessment for people, process, technology, and data. Design thinking, AI design thinking. Now, AI design thinking is basically a phase, a dimension between what you want and how you can able to enable it. Moving towards lean, agile, DevSecOps, and Six Sigma compliant and ESG 4.0 ecosystem. So Industry 4.0 and 5.0, which is digital and automation era, have some differences based on the summary that I will be presenting now of my last slide. So we have a sixth dimension, which is core focus. What is a core focus of an organization? What is a business shift that we are looking into, which is data-driven and AI-enabled? What is a customer value creation that we would like to have? And what are the growth drivers and metrics to look into along with the technology use? And at the end, it's all about dollars, ringgit, baht, dinar, euros, and other things, which is on the money part. So Industry 4.0, automation and technology centric. Industry 5.0 is human first, then technology later. And the business shift was on the XaaS, which is anything as a service. So it's a service-oriented architecture where you have analytics as a service, AI as a service, cybersecurity as a service. So you don't need to go for turnkey project to do heavy investment and support, rather than you opt for the analytics or XaaS subscription model, so which can be plug and play for faster enablement. Then Industry 5.0 on top of it is creating a value creation for the purpose and planet. 4.0 mass personalization. 5.0 is more on empathic and hyper customization. 4.0 is on operational efficiency. Societal impact is 5.0. 4.0 is on smart factory, CPS. 5.0 AI with a human touch, digital twin. And 4.0 is on predictive services. 5.0 is on sustainable business model. Now, this is a very important slide that will able to give you an idea how AI design thinking is very important. Michael Lewrick here, Dr. Michael Lewrick is a champion of AI design thinking. I am also reading about his book. 5 books I have purchased. The audience over here who are from Malaysia, you can find Michael Lewrick book in Kinokuniya inside KLCC. It's an excellent piece of art that will able to enable you. So he's basically focusing on more on AI design thinking because he is champion. But I would like to explain how design thinking fits in an organization. And without AI design thinking, your initiative in terms of manpower, in terms of cost, in terms of money, value, time, can be jeopardized if you didn't able to implement it properly. So design thinking can be a very holistic approach for having a quick wins, and at the same time it will be very critical for you to reduce the distance between what customer wants and need and how you can able to enable it. So we have a tech transformational verticals. Those transformation verticals are important. I disconnected.
Dr. Imran, you are there? All right, some technical issue. We wait for Dr. Imran. Meanwhile, participants, if you have questions for Dr. Imran with what I have said, you can just text it first while waiting for Dr. Imran. Dr. Imran, you are here. All right. Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, sure. Right.
Now take this example of internet. So how we can able to have a transformation initiative, and just like Martin mentioned, if there is no electricity or now internet, what will happen? How we will able to survive? So design thinking approach needs to look into multiple factors. Now this is a very important slide, which is telling about design thinking in an AI context bird's eye view, where we are looking into the transformational verticals, which are your technologies. You will be using those technologies to solve the problem in an organization. And those problems can be part of horizontals, means that they are different departments. Now you need to make transformation across all of the departments collectively based on prioritization to make your end-to-end ecosystem very fast. Now, AI design thinking is the second step towards the AI transformation. The first step is always to understand where we are and where we should be in terms of people, process, technology, and data. Now, if you look at the bottom part, AI design thinking is the second step, which is the discovery phase. Initial phase is AI maturity assessment. Are we ready for AI? So you are asking yourself. The second step is, do user want this? Means do the clients or you yourself want it, which is on the discovery phase, creating a concept. And then from the design thinking outcome, you will have a lean startup for viable monetization, and then product development using agile, and then deployment using the technologies, and then you will be having a CI, which is continuous improvement with AI innovation life cycle. So let's look into the first part, which is on the AI maturity assessment, where in AI maturity assessment, you may have hundreds of different framework. In Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, they have their own framework in terms of people, process, technology, data, and AI strategy. And then you are also looking into the IT infrastructure that are enabler for those transformation initiative. Now, in AI design thinking aspect, you also need to have an alignment of AI maturity assessment framework. This is framework developed by myself and my team, which is looking into different level of stages of maturity assessment, ad hoc, foundational, operationalized, optimized, or transformational. Transformational are the top level where your organization is fully AI enabled, but you need to look into the key matrices, or key metrics in terms of that AI transformation. Number one is AI use case ROI index. Number two is AI adoption rate, model deployment frequency, because model development one time is not realistic. And you develop a model, you deploy the model, you need to have a continuous monitoring aspect where you can look into the model accuracy, which is continuously developing. So you need to do model development cycle, improvement cycle. And that improvement cycle is foundational in terms of your AI ecosystem. Many of the people have a notion that once you develop an AI implementation project in a factory or any place, that's it. No, it's not like that. You have to improve it continuously because different type of data, different type of scenarios are generated where your AI model does not can cope up with it. Depending on whether you're using machine learning, deep learning, or basically agentic AI. Then you will look into the model performance stability in terms of detection of the accuracy, the data pipeline reliability, AI infrastructure, innovation velocity, and cross-department AI collaboration that leads to the level 5 expectation on continuous ROI and other important aspect of transformation ecosystem. Number second phase is on the discovery phase, which is on the design thinking aspect. So when we are looking into design thinking, they are, like Martin mentioned, and more detail, Dr. Michael Lewrick will be mentioning, is it that we always start with the empathy, which is discovery to understand. Then we explore, and then we realize. So empathy or discovery phase, along with the define phase, are very crucial to understand not only map about what customer or client wants, stakeholder identification, formulating the problem statement, having 5 whys techniques, build persona, and one of my favorite, which is not mentioned here, is about CGM, customer journey map. So you will have a proper understanding of the problems and the pain point and the process where the person is facing the problem, how you will able to resolve the problem, but developing an AI-enabled solutions that can able to help. But there are some cases where you don't need an AI. So it's not overfitting that always we have to put AI. There are something that require just simple statistical methods to do the forecasting. So we need to look into whether we are overfitting or underfitting. Then once you have understood about the ecosystem, then you are looking into exploration stage. In the exploration stage, we are doing ideation, which is on the brainstorming with the stakeholder, making storyboard, employs camper technique, and then developing a prototype. Right now, we are doing the prototype development using Adobe Figma, which is because it can able to give us a real experience, which is having a UI, UX, user interface and user experience based on the digital experience, moving towards AIX experience. And next is on the testing, where we will do getting a feedback, A/B testing, iteration until and unless we have developed something which customer wants. That is a crucial step. Based on that crucial step, you will able to have a quantum leap towards project development that is heavy in investment. Usually, this kind of an initiative can take within 1 month or 1 month plus with the proper understanding and ecosystem and stakeholder collaboration. Now, just to give a very high-level view about what type of activities and deliverables that we are doing with the industry, mostly manufacturing, automotive, supply chain, and other sectors, we do activities based on the phases. Each activity have deliverables. Those deliverables, we collect the data, and then that data will be used later with the stakeholders by using some tools and platform to fulfill the KPIs and success metrics. So we have empathy, define, ideate, prototype, test, and scale. Later on, you can able to get this slide from me as well. So because I have less time, just to explain, every phase have a very important deliverables that will be part of your project initiatives and development. And that data-driven approach, previously we were using paper-based, now we are using data collection and AI tools like Gen AI to speed up the process. And then different stakeholders are be part of those phases that will able to help us fulfilling the KPI metrics in this regard. Okay. Now, lean startup is more on looking into the very complex, and there are many stakeholders in terms of verticals. They are cybersecurity, industrial IoT, robotics, edge computing, digital twin, cloud, industrial automation, infrastructure, ERP, process and discrete manufacturing, analytics, predictive or AI analytics, or AI solution, vision solutions, so on. The main important critical factor is how we can have a system integration of all those platforms to make our factory more smarter. So those factory enabled ecosystem will able to help us not only gauge the end-to-end
So I think we lost Dr. Mohammed.
Dr. Imran, we lost Dr. Imran again. Dr. Imran, you're back?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry for the, I think internet
Yeah, I
cannot
understand about this.
overload that much information that I'm giving. Okay, so
Right.
I have about 7 more minutes left. So those those tools and platform needs to be value added in our ecosystem, but we need to use effective design thinking method to understand about how those collaboration can able to look into. Agile will be used to do the project development of those mock-up. Those mock-up are basically part of the KPIs. From those KPIs, how we can present the data using storytelling. So data-driven insight require proper KPI management and proper KPIs envisioning that can able to help us to visualize during the design thinking prototype stage what will be the end analytics dashboard will looks like. And there are many dashboards, many KPIs that you can able to look into based on the based on the KPIs. You may have a same data that can be interpreted in a different manner using different techniques. And in design thinking method for the while we are doing the prototyping and doing the testing, we will able to show those data storytelling to our stakeholder whether they can able to understand. Like in this example, analytics dashboard. Analytics dashboard. Dashboard should be so good that it should be self-explanatory. The more you are explaining that dashboard, this means the data analytics dashboard is not designed well. So it should be self-explanatory. So from the prototype to test case, you need to do the improvement on the presentation of those analytics design, basically using agile collaboration mechanism. And finally, in terms of the quality improvement and deployment for those solutions, you can able to look into the aspect how the end goal in terms of prescriptive analytics will looks like, where you can able to have, for example, in this case study, we are looking into AI power visual inspection for defect, duplication, and SKU. Before you envision that this thing will happen, you need to understand the ecosystem, so design thinking process will able to help you gauge not only RODI, which is return of digital investment, but also what can be the technologies that can be used for the quick win, what will be the strategy, what will be the monetization impact that we can look into envisioning those ecosystem. So the framework that we have developed for AI is quite extensive in a way that can be used by any organization. And definitely design thinking is one of the most important and critical factor to look into as a first step towards AI transformation in this regard. I will not go into deeper details on that, but I would look into that we will, just like T.S. Martin has mentioned, that we need to look into quick wins or holistic approach of every initiative. Gone are those days that you have to do full-fledged project development. Right now, we are going for MVP and then doing the incremental approach in terms of scaling based on the success factor and RODI. So this is some of the example, my second last slide. Actually, the last slide I put within 1 minute after Martin finished because Martin mentioned about the technical aspect. So I will be presenting that. So there are a lot of success stories that was happen because of AI design thinking. Because when you have an understanding of the stakeholders, proper process flow of what client wants, what the stakeholder wants, and how we can able to achieve those stakeholder initiatives and vision by doing a step-by-step cyclic approach of continuous improvement using design thinking, it can able to reduce the risk of 80 to 90%. And then there will be a realistic expectations from the stakeholder in terms of the delivery that we can able to do in this regard. So design thinking is a very crucial initial step that lays the foundation of the success or the failure of any initiative within an organization towards digital and AI ecosystem. My final slide of today, which is on the technical aspect or technical architecture of those AI-enabled ecosystem. So I will divide that ecosystem into two parts, which is one is on the data part. So you need to have a continuous data, whether it's a structured data, semi-structured data, or unstructured data. You need to ensure that those batch data or live stream data is being saved in a data lake. And then from that data lake, you are having a pipeline in terms of either ETL or ELT or data mesh. And then from there, you do the feature processing based on the type of the data. If the application require machine learning, which is traditional machine learning, then you will have a ML ops pipeline. That ops are the automation of the pipeline where you will give the data, train the model, test the model, deploy the model, monitor the model, and this cycle will able to continue until forever. In terms of deep learning, which is based on the unstructured data, you will have a data annotation. And then from those data annotation, you will able to look into the deep learning model or NLP model or agentic AI model towards the model training, testing, and deployment towards the things. So there are two output of AI. One is on the form of forecasting or recommendation in the front end. Another one is the decisions on behalf of the humans. So with that said, I would like to conclude my presentation, and I will be really obliged to answer any question before our final speaker, which is Dr. Michael Lewrick. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Imran, for your insightful presentation. For a moment, drown into the transformation because we can feel that where we are now, what we are now, with the explanation that you have given, very, very deep dive, we realize that transformation. So basically, you have given a very clear view of 4.0 technologies, how it's work and AI design thinking can transform. Well, now, we would like to open the floor for question and answer session. Please feel free to ask questions to Dr. Imran, or you can text in our chat box.
I have a question from Dr. Imran regarding
Please.
the application of the AI design thinking in SMEs specifically. Because currently the big organizations are finding it easy to implement all these either homegrown or can be outsourced this technology. But in terms of SMEs, they are finding it difficult to implement these in a very small setup. So how this framework that you have devised is easy to acquire for these small SMEs or even micro SMEs in that case. So how applicable is it for SMEs, and is it easy to understand for them as well? Can you give me some insights or use case that is there in Malaysia or in similar economies? Thank you.
Definitely, design thinking is not it's a costly process, but it's a right process. Sometimes you have to do investment in the beginning to minimize the risk of 80%. So you have other option to not do any investment and have a risk at the end of your initiative, or you can do the investment in the beginning and reduce the risk at the end of the initiatives. I have come across a situation where we have implemented those ecosystem. But before I continue, maybe I can request Mr. Ali, which organization you are belongs to, so I can relate, and which sector is it from?
Actually, I'm a researcher currently at USM, but have been actively working with semiconductor SMEs in Penang. So the industry, if you're asking, is semiconductor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Ali, for answering that. I'm familiar with the SMEs in Penang, and I used to be part of the SMEs before moving to MNCs before. In some of the SMEs, uh, monetization is the issue. So what we do is we can able to have a collaboration with those SMEs and do some initiative which is HRD Corp enable. HRD Corp is basically a fund in Malaysia that can not only look into the people or human capital development, but it can be used for customized project development, means customized capstone based learning. So design thinking can also be a part of a training in which you can able to have a capstone project. Those capstone project comes from the SME themselves. For example, if the SMEs would like to understand the initiative of design thinking, they can able to contact us, and then we will able to facilitate them selecting a use case which is of high priority within their factory. They don't need to do a heavy investment in terms of in terms of in terms of in terms of funds to do the consultancy work for the design thinking. Rather than they can able to have a something called co-creation. Co-creation is where you can able to leverage the upskilling and also capstone project based approach using the levy or HRD co-fund, so they don't need to fork out the money from their own pocket. Now, I'm not aware of micro SME in terms of manufacturing, but SME can able to take part of it in terms of this thing. And number two is how we design that framework. That framework is a blueprint that may or may not be used 100% in an organization. It may still require some level of customization. Now, if you're able to look into some of the framework from PricewaterhouseCoopers, McKinsey, Accenture, EY, they are as a reference point. Those reference point means that based on that reference, you can further add or remove the component based on your ecosystem. So SME can still move towards AI transformation. They need to look into three things. Number one, prioritization of the use case. They can start small. They can think big, but start small, number one. Number two, they can opt for co-creation. Co-creation will able to reduce the the amount of investment to 50 to 60%. Number three, they go for holistic approach. In the holistic approach, they will look into the quick wins. They don't need to invest. Some of the SMEs I know in Penang, they don't even have an IT team. So you don't need to have an IT team to start an initiative. Rather than you can able to collaborate with the companies like us to basically look into knowledge transferring using HRD Corp and then some co-creation funds. So in Penang, for example, they can use the funding from NCER, which is under Ministry of Economics, where they have a COE, Center of Excellence, where 50% of the matching grant will be provided by the government. So it is only available for SME and LLC, which is local large company. So first way is HRD Corp enablement for project-based learning. Second is to use the funding from the government on the quick win and pilot project. We can facilitate you. And the third thing, which I found quite reasonable as well, is a hybrid approach, because there are some funding from NCER, MITI as well, that can able to enable you for the POC development, even MDEC. So government is quite much supporting to SME in terms of their transformation, but sadly, many of the SME may or may not know. For that, you can able to communicate with us and we can facilitate you, become a bridge between you and the government. So we can able to tell you what initiative you can able to take, what funding will be helpful for you, and how you can able to leverage those funding to develop something. I hope I answer your question, Mr. Ali. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Imran. Okay, we'll have one last question before we go for the next speaker. Any question? All right. Okay. Dr. Imran, thank you so much for your presentation and also your sharing. So
Thank you very much.
Now it's my honor to invite our next distinguished speaker, Dr. Michael Lewrick, who will be sharing his insight on the topic of reframing design, a paradigm shift towards humanity enabled by exponential technologies. Dr. Michael Lewrick is a best-selling author, award-winning thought leader in a design thinking and business ecosystem design, and accomplished entrepreneur. He holds a PhD and MBA and serves a visiting professor at several universities around the world. Through his company, Lewrick and Company, and his international acclaimed books, including the Design Thinking Playbook, the Design Thinking Toolbox, and Design Thinking for Business Growth. Dr. Lewrick has inspired people and organizations globally to drive innovation, digital transformation, and business growth in today's fast-changing world. His work focuses on enabling creativity, measuring innovation, and fostering the self-efficacy needed for meaningful change. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Dr. Michael Lewrick. Sir, this is your spiel. Carry on, sir.
Excellent. So thank you very much for having me on this session. And also thanks for everything we heard so far. Very powerful questions, very good discussions. At the same time, a good introduction about human-centered design and why design thinking is so important for artificial intelligence. That's also the reason why I like to put it on a little bit higher level, and I like to share my presentation. Let's see if we can do this quickly. Basically looking into something which is beyond human-centered design. And that's the reason why I have chosen a topic to reframe our design paradigm and look how AI and all the exponential technologies might serve humanity. And this is basically one of my kind of deep research and deep work I'm applying at the moment to find a good way how we link all these technology advancements into the better good and also for humanity. And yeah, let me start a little bit, give me a little bit of time for introduction about the topic and of course about myself. Yes, I have been writing and doing research in the design space for over 20 years. We started like 15 years ago writing up the Design Thinking Playbook, which has become a reference guide for initiating digital projects. And when we remember about 15 years, this was kind of the starting point for many companies going what we called at this time digital transformation. And design thinking is quite an old mindset, an old paradigm. It has been created over 55 years ago at Stanford University and has been helping all these big tech players in the Silicon Valley to come up with like really human-centered solutions, starting from Apple products to see what we see in platforms like Airbnb. All of them have been influenced by human-centered design. So it's quite an old mindset. At the same time, over the last 55 years, the mindset was always the same, but we have been applying the mindset to big problems, right? And one of the big problems 15 years ago was the start point of the digital transformation. Before, we have seen big challenges in transforming from the manufacturing side, and nowadays, and we see really kind of the focus on how we're going to solve the next shift into a different world where AI is basically collaborating with human beings. And this is a big transformation. And it's also kind of different from all the transformation we have seen in the past, because a lot of people argue the last 300 years industrial revolution was always kind of a shift, and we always find kind of new ways of operating, and technology was helping to get more efficient. With AI, it's different. It's first of all, yes, efficiency, and we see a lot of efficiency use cases, but at the same time become more effective. And this means we have the possibility of creating totally new business models. We have the possibility of creating totally new ecosystems. So every fabric of our society, every sector will be influenced by this technology. And that's also the reason why we have to start right now this journey and trying to find our way in applying the technology, because AI will not go away, right? So this is one of these things, we have to embrace right now. We have to see our way to find how we use internal data and create something with more impact. So what I liked to say is one welcome note from the Swiss Alps. So basically I'm located in Switzerland, Zurich. And of course, we're operating globally with the company in many directions. And this is a little bit kind of the view here out of my window from my office to get a glimpse where I'm sitting right now. Yes, so the company, as was already introduced, we do a lot of transformation work, and of course, we're trying to build capabilities with companies. So for us, it's not like executing the project for you and we develop your AI solutions and we go away. We're always trying to do a project-based learning. So basically on the way of creating something new, creating new AI application, creating your transformation into data, we try to give you all the tools and methodologies. So this is kind of our way of educating. And of course, it's not only technology, there's a lot of cultural transformation, there's a lot of business model transformation you have to look into, and you have to put it on a holistic way to be really successful in the end. At the same time, I'm a big promoter of having something I called AI and human collaboration, because I think we need both sides. First of all, we need AI for being more efficient, for example, clustering data. At the same time, we need the human aspect of synthesizing, of taking decisions. And what I've heard so far from this sessions was emphasized many, many times that the human aspect is quite important. So saying this, we have full portfolio of trainings, training catalog also for next year, outlining on all levels design thinking, from business ecosystems design to applying it for the educational sector. So at the moment, for example, we have a lot of university asking us, what is the influence of AI of our modules, of our structure, how we educate students. So we're not only working with industry, we're also working with governmental organizations and university schools to see what is the human transformation into this new setting. And of course, out of this revolution about AI, we started 3 years ago of offering master classes related to design thinking and AI. So we have different programs, leadership programs, but also mid-management and employee programs, helping to use design thinking of identifying use cases, building first applications, see the impact of agents and also agentic AI for your daily operations. And of course, usually these masterclasses in design thinking we do globally have like between 60 and 120 participants. That's an example. Masterclass with Microsoft in China with 120 participants across industry, kind of way of collaborating. At the same time, we have masterclasses, 250 participants, really hands-on exercises, even for like small and mid-sized enterprises to learn how to apply design thinking for identifying use cases, looking into what kind of data points you use. We do no-code tests, to validate your first solution, and also outlining how you're going to build the solution on any kind of standard AI stack out in the market. So we can do it on 2 levels. We can do it like for large organizations, big transformations, starting with the AI strategy, the governance model, educating the leadership, the board of directors. But at the same time, we can create high impact cases with our trainings on small and mid-sized enterprises to go into the next level. So what is quite important, why we have to blend in design thinking and artificial intelligence. AI can do a lot of things, right? And you have been probably testing with a lot of language models, creating pictures, synthesizing information, clustering information, writing reports, writing emails. But there's like 2 things in AI can do this. There's a part you can do and what AI can do. And this is quite important that we bring these things together. At the same time, you also have to be aware what we're speaking around AI at the moment is really narrow AI, right? We're not speaking about something intelligence. We're speaking about the narrow application of AI, mainly used in the context of large language model for most organizations. And this is kind of the starting point of the bigger transformation. So everything we see beyond will be totally different, right? Because at the moment, AI is basically mimicking something, humans have been creating out of data, and the language model is trying on a statistical model, to reproduce these things. So when we have these 2 things, of course, AI is really good in analyzing massive points of data. They're really good in tasks were kind of simple, and you can repeat very often. That's basically the use cases we see in the market right now. And of course, AI is possible to predict the outcomes, but only if you have like the historical data. And then, of course, it's trying to use this data sets to go into the future. But the important part is, and that's the reason why we need artificial intelligence and human-centered design, is that we have to have to put these things also into a different perspective. And this basically means, thanks for your comment, but I don't understand. So understand and apply the context is quite important. Basically humans have to take like the ethical considerations, and they're also the decision point. And it's also quite important when it comes to like really innovative and creative work, right? So kind of the human side of the entire process, because AI is not able to create something totally new. This kind of ability humans have at the moment, combining different disciplines and creating something totally new. It's not possible with artificial intelligence. This might be possible in 5 to 10 years when we speak about general artificial intelligence, but with these kind of narrow models we have at the moment, AI has not the same capabilities as human beings. And of course, the last thing is also quite important, is kind of the personal relationship, building up trust, for example, building up empathy. These are kind of human traits, we are really powerful in. And design thinking is basically combining all these powerful human traits into something we like to use and we like to leverage to get into like better AI use cases. And finally, of course, AI on the left side has all these capabilities, and our competitors and everyone else is using them. So we really have to also apply these tools to be with the market, and even expand our capabilities to become better as our competitors. So at the same time, fusion of disciplines is also something people were speaking already about these things. And this is basically something I have been put together a couple of years ago when we had like a big influence from data analytics and how things are coming together. So basically I see not only AI as a point here, so we have like already kind of existing machine learn capabilities, we see data analytics, we see computer science, we see, of course, neuroscience as a discipline, and of course, design thinking combined in something much bigger. And the combination is very powerful, right? Because the human abilities, building up empathy at the same time, the capabilities of data analytics and AI, they bring something together. We can really go into a different way of design. We can go into different levels of innovating, and this is leading, hopefully, then also to a better world for all human beings. This is basically what I come with a little bit later in my presentation. What I like to talk about is basically built on like three books. We have been published a book called Design Thinking and Innovation Metrics, and this was kind of the starting point, blending data analytics and design thinking to come up with a better measurement system. And out of this evolution, of course, you have the influence of data analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence. So if you like to get knowledge around design thinking at the same time, like to know how it's blended and used with data analytics, I think that's kind of a nice recommendation. At the same time, we have been publishing almost 2 years ago a book called AI and Innovation, and this was the first kind of approach how we can use design thinking and artificial intelligence and the entire innovation engine. And here we have also a couple of use cases of companies we have been collaborating with. So you get a glimpse about what other companies do. You get a checklist about your internal assessment and capabilities you need. At the same time, you get templates and guidance to build your own AI use cases. And of course, we're talking today about humanity, and this is also kind of an announcement of my next book I'm working on already now for 5 years, called Design Thinking for Humanity. And this is basically the shift from human-centered design into a bigger systematic view of designing and creating innovation in the future. So this is basically where I like to put a little bit kind of the emphasis in my presentation over the last minutes. Quite nice example about how we're going to use AI application over the entire innovation engine. So this is basically the double diamond. A lot of people know this is kind of a traditional framework of the problem space and solution space. And AI can help us here in many kind of aspects of being more effective and more efficient. And of course, efficiency is always something nice. If you have a good working process and you have everything lined out and you know exactly what are the touch points over your process, you can easily start to automate parts of your innovation journey. At the same time, the most important part about realizing that human-centered design and AI have a lot of kind of power in creating something is everything related to effectiveness. So we always kind of always a strong lens on how we become more effective in what we're going to do. And this means that our innovation work and our outcomes are much better than before. And at the same time, I also have to admit that the whole innovation landscape and our path from understanding the problem to finding solution is also changing. And we don't know the best path at the moment, but we do a lot of experiments that we, for example, creating first hundreds of solutions, and then we go backwards into the entire process. So not like the traditional way of identifying the problems, building prototypes, and then, of course, testing. With AI, we can also generate 100 prototypes, and then basically we see, what is the best solution in the market, and then we go backwards and identify the problems and define what are the components and functions we need to make it happen. So at the moment, or for me at least for the last 2.5 years, there was kind of a big learning journey, understanding how the innovation playbook 2.0 will work in the future. But at the same time, we have no evidence, right? We're still kind of doing our experiments and see what is the best way of having artificial intelligence and human-centered design to come up with better solution. And of course, is there kind of a new way of creating innovation in the future? As I mentioned before, when you go to the webpage from the books, exponentialchange.com, or any of our other web pages, you find a lot of templates. And what we have been doing with the book AI Innovation, we have creating the self-assessment, and we have also created templates. Yes, you can make an assessment about your use cases. And I think it's very helpful, especially if you have a starting point, you do it first time, the identification of powerful use cases. You can't implement all of them, right? You have to find a way to create criteria and also to understand, what kind of cases are most powerful, what kind of cases have the most impact for our organization. And these tools helps a little bit kind of going into this journey, identifying what is needed and how to create inputful artificial intelligence solutions. So people always ask me big hype about AI and say, well, is this a big hype? It's not a big hype. My position is it's totally underhyped. I have the feeling that a lot of people speak about, everyone is speaking about AI. Everyone is an AI expert now. And basically this curve will go down and we're not speaking about AI anymore. I have the feeling it's underhyped. We're not understanding the impact, what's coming along. I think we need much more education. We have to educate more leaders and board of directors. We have to find a good understanding, also middle management and all employees in the company. What does it mean? What does it mean to all jobs? What does it mean to our sector? What does it mean to our future business models? AI has an impact on everything, right? And we're not starting educating people on a regular basis. And this does not mean having one workshop or one training, then you start educating them. We're speaking about exponential change and exponential technology. So basically every quarter you have to re-educate and refresh the knowledge about the topic, because otherwise people will not follow kind of the latest developments. And I think it's quite important that we constantly, address the issue and show what's the impact of artificial intelligence. And then, of course, yes, my idea is really we see the exponential kind of leaps, and at the same time, we see that things happening on scale. So I really emphasize and embrace everyone to constantly look what's coming up, what are the new advancements in artificial intelligence, because I think this will not go away in the future. Then, of course, a lot of leaps just go quickly: AI assistants, AI agents, and agentic AI. And what is happening here, we can really go into something that's into problem solving, right? And agentic solutions get information from a lot of data points. They can usually automate and validate parts of the process. So if you're still kind of using a task-based idea of AI and a little bit of agents, look also into what agentic AI can offer you in the future, because especially when it comes to innovation processes, when it comes to your back end with IT service desk, there are a lot of solutions where agentic AI can solve these problems for you. And this is kind of a massive time saver for the entire organization. At the same time, you increase your quality, for example, of tickets within the organization. So I think this path is quite important to come up with good solutions. And of course, you can measure these things with the return on your investments. Then, of course, when we come in general to AI support over the entire design process, because design thinking nowadays is, of course, augmented by artificial intelligence. And of course, Gen AI can help you to synthesize the information. They can help you to address like the pain points and summarize the data from your customer interviews. It can help you in the brainstorm sessions, and it can help you to build up prototypes. And of course, when we look into agentic, yes, it can, of course, automate parts of the process. And in the future, if we get to the point we have general artificial intelligence, I see also the future where the entire innovation engine and all these processes are run by general artificial intelligence. This will be in the future. So this is coming like in 5 or 10 years, the different expert opinions out there. I have the feeling we probably have in 10 years good AGI solutions, and we can speak about something solid. Of course, people will claim before, maybe in 5 years, that they have already agentic general artificial intelligence, but this might take a little bit more time to get there. At the same time, we don't know how to get there, right? So that's kind of one of the big challenges, how we get into general artificial intelligence is a big question. At the same time, what's quite important, what we also observed over the last 2.5 years, is you have to find a good explanations about what is happening behind the scenes. That's for most of us, it's a black box, right? Something's happening with a large language model, we get the outcomes, and it's quite important to explain and understand, what is behind. And I think we're getting there. It's getting better about that. We know the sources of things. We also see a little bit kind of the root cause, how the information is structured. But this is really the important part about using large language models for like your daily work. I've seen a lot of organizations that are using ChatGPT to run like the competitive analytics engine behind, and have using it for writing reports, but they have never checked, right? They have never did the human validation of the outcomes. And now the model has changed and they got different outcomes, right? Each update of the large language model is producing a different report. And they're realizing, that the information they have received out of the large language model is not 100% accurate. So we also have to still monitor, and we have to find our way in something. We can explain the data behind, we can explain how the solution is formalized in any kind of report. And it's quite important to monitor and have your expert knowledge why you do these things. And of course, there's a lot of hope in the AI ecosystem to come up with solutions. It's much more validated. You have much more knowledge models behind of validating. You have a little bit of decision intelligence when it comes to evaluating data points and information. And I think this is basically kind of the beauty about looking into the AI ecosystems, that we're creating systems which are much more validated with the outcomes, and having also kind of, for us, the feeling and the trust that the outcomes from the large language models are better than what we have seen over the last 2.5 years. So typical AI use cases. So we have been working with so many organizations globally, from like manufacturing companies to like big tech players. And when I just look into the innovation engine, because usually people calling us for creating AI solution around innovation, there are a lot of cases, right? You can do like literature reviews, you can check your intellectual property, you can generate personas out of synthetic data, you can use it for ideation, prototyping, testing. Of course, the entire idea of facilitating and capturing data from workshop. So for example, last time we did a workshop with 250 participants. So we had 20 groups at the same time collaborating, and we were using an agentic AI solution, capturing all the insights. And we had like 5 minutes after we finished our workshop, the collective intelligence from over 200 people in the setting. And we were using this kind of data points for the next iteration of building prototypes. So what you can do right now, you can have like massive amounts of insights, with even a physical workshop setting. and using AI solution to capture the information. And of course, with a little bit kind of a workflow, generating already initial ideas, puts them back into the table, for discussion, and also streamline and be much faster about the entire design thinking workshop or ideation workshop in creating new solutions. So there's a lot of kind of smaller use cases you can use in any kind of company. Doesn't matter if you're a small, mid-sized enterprise, a large tech player. These things you can easily implement, and augment your innovation work with artificial intelligence. So a lot of examples about, like this one here, they're using, for example, artificial intelligence of creating pictures, of doing a campaign about the hidden cost of different kind of products you're purchasing. So all these pictures are generated by artificial intelligence. And so it's something you can easily do nowadays with any kind of free model already of creating impact. So these things are really kind of small examples of creating kind of first prototypes or even a whole campaign, or you're doing kind of more complex things of doing these things. At the same time, I've been working on my own language model. This was a small language model. We were basically using our own books and our own methodology of train the model. So we have been creating, for example, an innovation coach based on my own research, my own books, and you can chat basically with the context of the books. And the beauty about using a small language model is that it's really precise, right? It's using the methodology. It's not getting kind of influenced by any kind of data points and opinion outside of the model. So this is kind of a strong way, if you know and understand human-centered design, if you know the design thinking process and the mindset behind, you can easily use the tool and ask, what is kind of a nice example, what is kind of the next tool to use. And that's kind of also an example of building a chat interface with any kind of data points. And we have been doing this at the client side also for talking to any kind of database. So we have, for example, creating something to speak to a startup database to know what's happening in the startup base. We have been using it to speak about sustainability and regulation. So we have a full database for clients, and you can chat and ask for questions about regulation change. So I think there's a lot of use cases where you have precise information in the back end, and then basically a chat interface helping you to get information. And these things help already to spread information within the organization, or having kind of different ways of helping also taking decisions within your organization. When it comes to design thinking practice in general, as everyone mentioned before, there's a strong link between design thinking, artificial intelligence, and we have to both use things. And at the same time, it has also a lot of kind of influence how we operate, because in the old days, we're really going out, trying to find out what is the problem to solve. We did a lot of observations in the beginning. And nowadays, these things has not changed. We still have to do these things, kind of the strong elements in the beginning, understand what is the problem to solve, because this is the human element. At the same time, we becoming more kind of an orchestrator of information, right? So we, as human-centered design experts, we know prompt engineering, but we have to know about prompt engineering. We have to know about all these models out there. We have to build our own little agents, to make this process a little bit faster. And at the same time, we still need this mindset, of understanding. It's important to do first understanding of the problem space before jumping into the solution. But of course, it's changing, right? So the capabilities are expanding, our ways of operating with the model as part of our daily routine. And even if you are in human-centered design, if you're a hardcore design thinking kind of expert, I think you need all these tools in the future to stay upfront with all your competitors in the market and other kind of experts, because this also gives you the advantage of being much quicker and more effective with your innovation work. So what skills are needed? Yes, I was already talking about these things. You have to know about these language models. You have to know about prompt engineering, and of course, how to use these tools very efficient, effectively. At the same time, there's a lot of other things coming also into play. So many workshops we use at the moment for big transformation of companies, we're using future thinking. So the starting point many times is for us to use a foresight framework and future study framework combined with design thinking to see how the future will look like. Because whatever you're going to build right now, you're investing a lot of money, especially if you're coming into like a data play and using and investing heavily in artificial intelligence. You have to know how the future might look like. So we're starting to create a lot of possible futures to see what might the possible scenarios. And then we go backwards and they look, whatever we're going to build right now, we are future ready. So that's quite important, especially if you're taking a lot of investment for AI at the moment. At the same time, we have to use system thinking. We have to know how the system's operating. And of course, we have to look what is the strategic kind of implementation efforts we have to take to make it happen. And this, of course, has impact about our HR practice, about our strategy, about our operations. So it's touching every part of the organization. And for us, it's always kind of to look holistically what is kind of needed to make you successful in the future. It's not only creating the AI use cases to become more efficient, it's kind of where are you, how you create impact and value add in the future. And of course, you have to consider all these different kind of playing fields to be successful in the end. So big opportunity. Now we're coming to the point about humanity. And this is something I've been working for the last 5 years, how we switch from human-centered design into design thinking for humanity. And what is basically happening, we still kind of focusing on a single user and a single customer. And this is very powerful because this drives our revenues, this drives our engagement rate with potential users and customers. At the same time, exponential technologies, especially now artificial intelligence, the combination in the future about AI and quantum, everything we see and we heard today about the technology we can apply in this kind of 4.0 transformation. These things have also the benefits that we can create a design process, innovation processes, even kind of material which is much more sustainable and as we have been operating in the past. So I see the great opportunity in artificial intelligence that we see everything much more holistic, that we create a more sustainable future with kind of more kind of humanity-centered way of designing something. And this is also kind of my call for a movement that we're not only trying to look for efficiency and profits, that we also use the technology now to go into the next level of designing something more sustainable. And I think that's the responsible of all of us. You know, we have to be responsible about our future. And if we can use technology to go this path, I think it's quite important. So designing for humanity is basically using what I have said before. We're using system thinking, we're using future thinking, we're using exponential technologies, we're using behavioral change to make this shift happening. And the really important part is when you start your journey, right? In the beginning, when you start your problem statement, your first how might you question about getting into the design practice, you make a decision. If you're designing only for one specific group, like the customer or user, or you're designing for the entire planet and you're having a view about humans and all living things on Earth, you know. So this kind of initial problem statement makes a huge difference how you approach the future. And I think in the beginning, you know, you make your decision if you build something for the better good, or you're just focusing on incremental improvements and the hopes that we also shifting a little bit more into the big impact of the future. So critical point is really in the beginning, how you formalize your how might we question. So design thinking for humanity, just very quickly, it's basically combining a lot of disciplines, it's combining a lot of elements to make it happen. And of course, you go the full cycle from the future thinking part over design thinking, system thinking, behavioral change, of course, using exponential technology of making it happen. And it's, of course, it's complex. At the same time, you know, now I think it's also the shift we can do in going into something much higher, because everyone is saying AI is doing like the groundwork and the easy task. So now we have more capacity to think about something bigger. So this is basically the time you should use to create systems, you know, focusing on humanity. So thank you for sharing my views. I think we're also running out of time a little bit, and hopefully there's some time for Q&As. Happy to discuss, happy to connect over LinkedIn. And if you have any questions, please shoot your questions. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Lewrick. Dr. Lewrick. Yeah, we only 1 minute. Right, thank you to Dr. Lewrick. And it's a very interesting and a very lively. I would like to open the floor for question.
Dr. Lewrick, can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, how are you?
Okay. Just what happened? Lewrick, can you hear me?
I can
Yeah,
hear
I
you,
can
yes.
you.
Okay, I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. Actually, Dr. Lewrick, thank you so much. Your work is commendable. Loved your presentation.
Now you're muted.
You're
Now
mute.
My
You're
God.
mute.
Okay. Sorry, I know something's happening to my laptop. I don't know. I'm so sorry. Okay, Dr. Lewrick, your work emphasizes combining design thinking with AI. Given the capabilities of generative AI to rapidly ideate and prototype, what is the single most critical mind shift that human design teams must make sure to ensure they use AI to truly amplify empathy and create breakthrough innovation rather than simply accelerate the production of mediocre ideas?
Perfect. I think the most important part is really kind of validate, right? Whatever AI is giving you in the brainstorming sessions, kind of persona concepts, go out into the real world and validate what AI is giving to you. Because the challenge is of course, operating on historical data, right? And of course, we know it sounds good, whatever you get, but it's not validated. And I think whatever you get out, I think it's not sitting still in your office, and discuss with your colleagues. I think you have to do the real world kind of experience, face with any kind of prototypes, real user, real customers, go back, and build up emphasize with the users. And of course, if you have kind of the chance to feed in the feedback from real users into your database, and augment again with AI and say, look, this is basically what you have been proposing. This is kind of the real world examples we have been gaining out of our interviews, and then AI can also help you to find like the pro and cons about these arguments and also find a way into identifying the difference. And then finally, please synthesize with your human understanding and also be really strong about your cultural setting, about the country you're designing for, because a lot of models are designed in North America and then you try to use them in Malaysia. And of course, the cultural setting is totally different. So I think it's quite important to really apply critical thinking, to validate whatever the outcomes are, and then hopefully build a little bit your own database and help the internal database be connected to any large language model to come up with better solutions. That's basically what I think it's the best thing to do. At the same time, when you use a large language model and creating a prompt, give as much context as possible. And this means explain where you are, what are you doing, what is your company doing, where's the status of the project, because you always assume that the AI knows already the context of what we're trying to do. But in reality, it's a machine, right? And the machine has a different way of listening. So we have to create the prompt in a way that the machine understands. And if you're not giving enough information, usually the machine is not able to create the appropriate outcomes.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you, Dr.
Lewrick.
Lewrick.
Right. Right. Our three panels have shared their powerful perspectives today. Right. We will go on with our panel discussion, whereas our speakers, they have basically, they talk about transformation, designing, and for the digital impact, and also reframing design for the humanity in this age. So basically, we will now move to our panel discussion, where our three speakers will share their views, challenges of the ideas, and explore opportunities. Basically, maybe we can start from one big question. All right. Dr. Lewrick, is it possible if you take your slide away so we can see all our panels?
So, no, perfect. No, I take it away. Perfect. Here we are.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, we'll have a panel. So let us look at the big picture. What you'll have shared is really give us an impact from what we are right now as one of the strategy lecturer and also a researcher. I myself can see the impact that from which step I have to take, where I'm supposed to go. And in the big picture, each of you approaches having a different lenses, a digital transformation, product development, and human-centered design. How do you see these disciplines covering your shape of future in the for Industry 4.0 and beyond. End of the panel. You can just. Dr.
Also,
Lewrick is there?
I've to talk for the last
Right.
half hour, so maybe Martin might like to start again, and give his view.
Okay. I can start. No problem. No worries on that. So yeah, the big picture. I think as we all shared the three panels here, it is definitely the major discussion will be about the human centric approach, how we actually involve the human part, and how we design systems, as Dr. Lewrick mentioned, how we design systems actually that we can see how we connect people with technology. I always like that to say the technology, and I agree, it is a tool. Imagine the AI is sitting up there in the cloud. And if no one interacts with this technology, it will not do anything. As of now. So what I want to have is what we need to see from the way, which I feel is very important, is how we actually design these systems to work with us rather than against us. And especially how we include different levels of employees. Don't forget, we have different areas where we can use AI, especially when we look into the manufacturing sector. Yeah, so we have operations, we have mid-management, we have maybe top management. So all these need different approaches in my eyes.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Martin. Dr. Imran?
Just to add, it's very unfortunate that this part of the world does not leverage the design thinking and future thinking ability, which Dr. Michael Lewrick has mentioned, and also what Ms. T.S. Martin have spoken about. But it's slowly catching up. The trend that I see in Malaysia and Thailand is that people would really wanted to look into exploration on the design thinking aspect of ecosystem, but there are many frameworks available and they are confused which framework to use. My thought process is very simple. Use any framework, use any principle, engage Michael, Martin, and myself. If you like, you can able to ask for the contact and have a preview session in which we can able to understand your organization and assist you and facilitate you in terms of how we can able to help you connect the dots. Just like Martin mentioned that there's a dot between human and AI, means there is a dot between how a problem can be solved by human with AI, through AI. But if the expectation is without human, without design thinking, AI will able to help and solve your problem, it's not going to happen. This is not AI. This is not AI. This is actually Genie, which is in the dreams, which is not realistic. So moving forward, we don't need to go to the depth of the framework. Rather than we can simply start with a discovery workshop. You can engage us in terms of understanding of the thought process of your organization. And I believe that there are many of the use cases. So in case of generic use cases, I found there are 4 types of use cases. One is conventional, selective, niche, and disruptive. Conventional and selective are common across all of the ecosystem and sectors. Disruptive are which are more towards advanced AI ecosystem, and niche is basically organization level. I think Dr. Michael Lewrick, myself, and T.S. Martin have an extensive experience in terms of assisting and facilitating organization towards their pathways towards AI transformation. So connect with us, and then basically we can able to guide you. It doesn't have to be physical. We can able to have set up a call in which we can able to look into an online understanding of your problem and organization, and we can able to facilitate you even further. Those who are joining from Malaysia, you can leverage the HRD Corp claimable funding to leverage the design thinking, AI design thinking workshop. We are also planning to invite Michael in Malaysia for the series of workshop in Malaysia and Thailand. So stay tuned. It will be definitely in Q1, where people are realigning based on the new corporate roadmap launch at the beginning of the year towards the transformation. So AI transformation, human-centric transformation, and design thinking with the future thinking is continuous improvement process. And let's start together. Thank you.
Perfect. So, well, a lot of things already said about why it's important to use design thinking and artificial intelligence and creating this transformation. So, one last point I think is quite important. What we have seen many times, that organizations were just asking all the employees come up with AI use cases, and you can easily collect like 150, 250, 500 use cases within your organization. Everyone has great ideas how to use artificial intelligence. From my experience, usually 80% of these use cases are not possible at the current state of narrow AI, because people are asking for, oh, AI should do all our strategic work, right? AI should automate our M&A process and many other things. So yes, you can do partly things out of this process, to be more effective, more efficient, but we're not able to take out basically whole departments and say this is now run by artificial intelligence. So the first thing is, to sit together with people and ask, what is basically the biggest pain point in your process at the moment? What takes a lot of time? Where do you have a big issue of collecting the data, of clustering the data, and coming up with better solutions? So usually this kind of human touch of engaging, to understanding, to be deeper about process steps, about work performed, it's quite important to define the right use cases. At the same time, you have to build up kind of the knowledge around AI and how people will interact with the AI solution to come up with good solutions. Because if you automate something, and you just say, look, this is the outcomes, and you're not giving the workforce the opportunity and the skills to monitor the solution, to improve these solutions, to also critically think about how to improve the entire process, you're usually sticking to like an old process model, old kind of procedure, and you just automate like partly the entire process. And I think you have to put it on a different level, because AI has much more to offer, and going into this kind of deeper understanding also helps you to create something more effective in the end, and not only trying to do like smaller points of efficiency and improvements over the entire process.
All right, thank you, Dr. Lewrick. Basically, right now, three of you, Mr. Martin, Dr. Imran, and Dr. Lewrick, you are the gem right now that we have, that you really share the knowledge that you have. I have the last one wrap-up question that I really want from your own word. In your own experience, what are the most or the difficult part the organization or the company are basically facing to apply or implement human-centered innovation framework at their place? Maybe in a very simple word, what do you think that the challenges that they are facing? Mr. Martin?
Well, yeah, so I think the biggest challenge is mindset, right? Because we're talking about iterative processes. We're not jumping a solution. We're starting with understanding the problem. And most of us are educated and have been working in different environments. So I think it's more like the mindset change we have to work on, so that we understand, it's a different way of working, of collaborating, of starting experiments and creating something. And this kind of initial step out of your comfort zone, a different way of working, is probably the hardest one for most employees. But once people understand, what is the power of design thinking, what they can leverage out of it, they can not only use it to creating AI solutions, they also can create it to all kind of problems they have within organizations. I think once the organization and like departments and single team members understand the power, I think then we are ready to do any kind of transformation. It doesn't matter if it's a cultural business model or like AI transformation, but we have to understand the mindset behind to be powerful.
Yeah, maybe to just add on that, in my experience is always change, and also as Dr. Lewrick says, the mindset to fail. Yeah? So fail small, fail fast, learn fast. I think that is very important also with AI. We have seen this in Industry 4.0, that we need to experiment and that we need to embrace failure as a way of learning and as a way of moving forward. Yeah? So this would be one of the challenges. Sometimes we feel, oh, we cannot fail, but actually we need to fail to learn very fast and very quickly. But feel smaller, don't feel bigger. Yeah, small failure, and then we learn from there. That's my point.
Okay.
Okay, I wanted to add, mindset resistance is one, but I think there's a prerequisite to implementing the design thinking process, and I think that one is agile, breaking the silos so there can be a collaboration across cross-functional team. Because in when we are doing the design thinking consultancy for organization towards their AI initiatives, one of the important aspects is identification of the stakeholders to understand the problem better, to find who is the primary, secondary, and tertiary stakeholders, who is the owner of the problem, and who will be the owner for the product. That requires a uh, very streamlined communication and collaboration. So second thing is about a visibility of end in mind. Like every initiative, there is some vision what they would like to achieve. Sadly, in many of the SMEs, they don't have the vision what they would like to achieve in terms of transformation. And global economy is also fragile right now. So many of the SMEs or micro SMEs are in a survival mode. So we need to look into the context, and from that context, I think if there are three key challenges addressed one by one, it will be much more better. Number one is to have a visibility of monetization of particular initiative in a small scale towards the large scale. You don't have to go to the big scale first. You can start with the small, just like Martin mentioned, fail fast and quick fast. Number two is to break this down the silos. Number three, a literacy in terms of effectiveness of design thinking and future thinking. As a leader, it has to be from the top down. We can start with the management, middle management first, so they can able to understand the positive change that design thinking can bring to the organization, the value it can bring to the organization. With the system thinking and future thinking together, they will have a visibility what will be the monetization and optimization of the process, bringing the organization in terms of more value added in terms of money saving, optimization, and so on. And then proper upskilling and awareness, which is lacking in this part of the world. And lastly is about how they can able to look into what Michael Lewrick mentioned about the mindset resistance, because they design thinking, not everyone can champion it, right? It requires some investment. So one of the things that I have witnessed is this, that people can able to read a book and then they are design thinking practitioner, which is not which is not the right case. You still need a coach, you still need a mentor, still need a facilitator in the process. It cannot be learned overnight by watching the YouTube video, and it cannot be learned from the reading of books. It requires some collaboration with the subject matter expert like Martin Mueller, Michael Lewrick, and Dr. Gouri as well, and myself and other people who can able to collaborate and mentor the organization level. It will start with the organization to go bottom to the management, and it can go to the individual management level towards the organization level. That is top down and bottom up approach. Thank you.
All right, it's a very, very fruitful discussion for today. And thank you very much, Dr. Imran, Mr. Martin, and Dr. Lewrick. So basically what I can conclude here is the key takeaway from today's conversation are very clear. Technology is enabler, but people are the true driver of transformation. I can conclude with our discussion basically. So when we combine human-centered thinking with the power of AI and exponential technologies, we create innovation that is not just efficient, but meaningful and sustainable. So ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of the inspiring session on AI Design Thinking 4.0, human-centered innovation for on the key messages and shared distinguished speakers. So here we have, on behalf of Datalytica, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our incredible speakers. We have technologist Mr. Martin, and then we have technologist Dr. Imran, and of course we have Dr. Michael Lewrick for sharing their profound insight, experience, and vision of more human-centered digital future. In future, with their permission, you can contact them for necessary projects or organizations transformation. So a special thank you to all goes to all the participants and attendees. Your engagement and questions made today's discussion truly meaningful. And some of the questions Dr. Imran have answered in the chat box. So, and finally, our deepest appreciation to organizing committee and partners from Datalytica for making this event possible. Let's continue to design a future where innovation is not only intelligent, but also empathetic, where technology serves humanity. So thank you once again. And we look forward to seeing you at future session. Have a wonderful day ahead. So thank you to our panels. Right, thank you, participant.
I think we can go for a group photo.
Right, sure.
Can you please
Dr.
open
Lewrick, I think your picture's stagnant.
Okay. I would like to request everyone if they can open their video for the group photo. I see Park Bijati. Thank you, Park, for attending. We have Pon City as well. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.